For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Today we have Kumar Kinshuk sir with us, the author of Two Indian Girls. Thank you so much sir for coming on our show. We are highly grateful कि आप हमारे शो पर आए.
Really appreciate it, Gaurav. Thank you.
Okay, so sir, before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, I would like to please introduce yourself. आप अपने बारे में, अपनी बुक के इस जर्नी के बारे में, अपनी फैमिली के बारे में हमें कुछ बताएं.
Oh yeah, sure. I think it's a very longish answer. So एक करके मैं बताता हूँ एक करके.
जी.
So basically, see, I'm basically originally from Ranchi,
Okay.
which is the capital city of Jharkhand.
जी.
My parents basically belong to Patna, which is from Bihar. But last 20 odd years, my workplace has been Calcutta.
Okay.
And I've also traveled all over. So I've been in Ahmedabad for 2 years. I've been in Chennai for a year. But Calcutta has always called me back, so to say.
Okay.
And so I am basically BSc Physics Honours from Ranchi, St. Xavier's College, after which I did my MBA from TAPI Management Institute, TAPMI in Manipal.
Okay.
Thereafter, so it's been almost 21 years of work life, and I basically work for an MNC company taking care of the eastern region.
Okay.
So this, my family, it's a small family. My wife, she's also English honours, and my son and daughter. So son is studying engineering, daughter is in school. My father actually was from the background of a professor. So he was professor of Ranchi University, and he used to teach English as a language and literature. So he gave me this, I used to study a lot working with him while I was in physics and sciences. But this love for languages was given to me by my father,
Okay.
Dr. R.K. Sinha. And he's extremely happy that I have taken it to a new level now, and I have kind of come out with a novel.
Yeah.
So he keeps pushing me, keeps guiding me.
Mm-hmm.
He's my guiding light. And my brother, sister, my mother, all of them have been pushing me to do this for the last 5 years now.
Okay.
So this book actually took almost 4.5 years for me to write. Not that I was writing on a daily basis, and which is what my advice to the authors would be, to kind of, keep writing on a daily basis. Because this book I used to write and then leave it for six months.
Oh.
So I was not, I wouldn't say it was writer's block or something, but I was just not in that habit of writing continuously. So it took me a lot of time. 2015 I started and almost ended it close to 2020 during the pandemic. So I write mostly Saturdays and Sundays. And sometimes in the evenings when I'm not watching TV, or if my kids and everyone is working on their mobiles and their homework, then I also write sometimes. That's how it is, Gaurav.
Okay. So sir, ये आपके बुक की जर्नी के बारे में आपने नहीं बताया कि कैसे आपने सोचा कि नहीं अब एक बुक लिखते हैं, या फिर जो भी आपके थॉट्स थे उसको कैसे अब एक बुक का शेप देते हैं, इस बारे में कुछ बताएं.
हाँ जी, so basically, because I don't come from a creative background, so to say, I have not read English as a language or literature in my past and have been from these sciences. So I did not really know that there is a structure to this, or there is a kind of flow that one needs to create. Basically, because I come from a background of schooling, and St. Anthony's School I was in. I passed out from there, from Ranchi. So English as a language was okay. However, my father actually inculcated in me that love for the language, and he used to keep saying that you write well. You have written multiple essays. I used to write for Hindustan Times while I was in 2 years posted at Ranchi. I've written for them quite a few, articles. But then it never took off really in a big way, and I never thought of writing a novel. So 2015, I had this story in my mind, which was also not like a developed story. I used to believe that there need not be any format for a creative thing to happen. you should just go ahead and start penning down your thoughts.
Definitely.
And those thoughts will kind of take a shape over a period of time. But there is also what happens is, if you've not really put in structure to the madness, and creative people can become really, that can go astray all over the place. They think of so many things at one single point in time. You'll think of this character, you'll think of that. So many things are there in your mind, and if you don't put it to a structure, it takes a lot more time to actually then put it back into form of a novel.
Okay.
So that was, I think, possibly a mistake that I initially I did. My father used to keep telling me that you need to kind of sit and write down what you want to first write. You put it in a structure, put it into chapters, put it into paragraphs. Let me know what you want to do. What is the end you're looking at? How would you kind of go back there? And if you are looking at writing, are you writing a normal novel? You're writing a mystery? Are you writing a romantic novel? And I was like clueless. I did not know what I'm going to write. But there was this girl in my mind, and I wanted to create a character basis that, and then create a novel. So right or wrong, went ahead and did not really get into that structured thought process. Kept writing, and whenever like three months I have not written, then again gone back, read it completely, then again started writing. So it took a lot of time. Maybe that is not the best thing to do, but I think that's how slowly I got initiated into it. So I must say, while I completed this novel, and by that time I realized, 2020 May mostly, that this is not the way I should kind of write my next novel. And if I have gone into a mystery kind of a segment, then I should really be clear as to what is the end game.
Definitely.
And then I should kind of work backwards. So that thought came in, and then I wrote my second, and then I wrote also my third novel. And those did not take more than a month each. So it was all structured, very clear, what kind of characters I'm looking at, what is the character going to be. So that entire characterization of the top 5 protagonists would happen, and then you kind of get into working on it.
Okay. So my next question to you, sir, is, like, as we all know that your book is released just now. So can you give us some insights of the book, like what a reader can expect from that book?
So basically, see, as I said, I did not really work on a structure, but the way it came out, and eventually I believe it's become kind of a, police procedural kind of a novel. So it's kind of mystery, crime mystery novel, wherein police officer does everything that is required to uncover the mystery. So it's not an external detective that these guys bring in. So it's not a detective novel kind of a thing. It's a police procedural novel, as they call it in US.
Okay.
And so it's about 2 girls. One is from basically Ranchi. The other girl is a Mumbaika. And they are the besties sort of for many years. And they take care of each other's requirements in their lives. And they're poles apart, but they love each other. So it's about them.
ओके, एज वी जैसे कि हम सब ने ट्रेलर मूवी अभी तक देख लिया होगा. जिन लोगों ने नहीं देखा, आप सर की प्रोफाइल पे जाके ज़रूर देखें ट्रेलर. ज़रूर आपको बुक खरीदने में या बुक पढ़ने में वो इंटरेस्ट देगा. सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है सर कि आपको मतलब कैसे थॉट आया कि नहीं मुझे इसी टॉपिक पे लिखना है, लाइक व्हाट मोटिवेट्स यू टू राइट ऑन दिस टॉपिक?
Gaurav, basically what has happened is, I'll tell you, after this trilogy, in fact, I have gone ahead and written 2 other books also.
Okay.
So while I have launched my first book, but my WIP is a big one. It's already 5 novels there. So it's not really a concept that I took and started writing. As I said, basically here I had a character in my mind. And I have just kind of gone gaga with that character in this novel, you can say. I've just picked up that character and put that character into various kinds of troubles and seen how the character develops. So it's a typical character-based book. So you'll find, and therefore, I could not have named it One Indian Girl, as you know. So and there are 2 besties we are talking about. So it's a 2 Indian girls, but part of a trilogy which is called the Kanke Killings. Okay. And the Kanke Killings, Kanke, why? Because this entire thing happens in a place called Kanke, which is a colony kind of a thing in Ranchi. So the trilogy would revolve around that area, and Kanke is famous, super famous, you would know, for basically one is Ranchi is famous because it's MS Dhoni's place, and Kanke is famous because we have mental hospital there, which is large, which is one of the best in India. So there's the Agra one. And this novel, although it's not based on a mental hospital, but it's in that entire area called Kanke. That's how it is. And I did not really think about this, how and where to structure and what to do. But I went ahead with my feel and gut feel basically on the character and just took off from there.
Okay, so it seems really interesting. So, do you want to experiment a little more about other genre, or you want to just proceed on, such books only? What can we expect from you in future?
So Gaurav, as I told you, I've written 5 novels. 3 is part of this trilogy, which it's already written, dusted, given to the editors to kind of edit and close it. There are 2 very different works I have also done.
Okay.
So one is basically it's about my childhood days. Okay. So that's a compendium of short stories wherein I am a 4 to 6 year old child.
Okay.
And everything that happens around me has been captured in those stories over there. So it has a little, the thought process of a child, 6 year old, what does he think? The people that he interacts with, and we were a big family. We were like all brothers and sisters. My dad, my uncles, everyone used to live together. It was a joint family. So we had like elderly people of almost like 8-10 members, and kids were like 14 members. In a large family.
Yeah.
And in a large family, so you have even your brothers and sisters are like 14-year-olds also and 2-year-olds also. So you get to learn and get to see all that a 14-year-old is also doing, while you also get to see what a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old is also doing. Yeah, so it was a lot of things happening around me, and all of that I have put into stories, so 20-25 stories around, for example, if someone told me about ghosts, to how do I react to that? So, or if there is a dacoity happening or a theft happening, so how do we react to that as a kid? So it's a lot of fun elements there, and that's how I've kept short stories there.
Okay.
And created a compendium of that.
The beauty of joint family.
The beauty of joint family, actually. And it's also based in Ranchi, a place called Baryatu.
Okay.
So it's called Baryatu Tales.
Okay.
And the 5th that I was telling you, it's completely different again. It's about the Indian emergency days. So, but it's not a non-fiction. It is also fiction. But the background is emergency in India in the 70s. So it's a completely different novel. How it affects 4 families, it's about that.
So it's like...
but Gaurav, to your question, I also wanted to tell you that as much as I read about these big novelists out there or big guys out there globally, and with the Amazon algos and everything working, so it's basically good to stick to a genre is what I understand. It gives you longer term edge in that genre, in your discipline, in your area, in your field. So slowly I have also kind of started to think that I'll write more of mystery and slightly less of others.
Okay. So here comes my next question, sir, related to this. Like, do you prefer personal branding? Like, you want any certain kind of image to be established in the reader's mind? Like, if they think like, okay, so this is the book of Kumar, sir, then this kind of book has to be given. Any impact you want to create on reader's mind related to this?
Yeah, so branding is everything nowadays. It's all, and even Amazon helps you only if you help yourself. So that's how it works. And for new debutant authors like us, we definitely need a big guy, big daddy like Amazon to help us. So that's where it all is, and we are trying to. And from my side, I have kind of been a disciple of David Gogren. Basically, who writes a lot about how to write books to take it to market. So he basically has given a lot of gyan, and it's all internationally available about the Amazon algorithms and how it works, and why you should be a wide author, or why you should be on Kindle Unlimited and all of that. So a lot of marketing I have learned, and all of that over the next maybe year or two I'll have to kind of figure out for myself. Reading it is different, kind of trying to figure out and then do it yourself so that you are able to implement it and grow basis that is different. So I'm trying all of that, but yeah, I need to create a persona for myself out there, which people need to kind of figure out. For example, today you know what Amish Tripathi writes. You would know basically what Chetan Bhagat writes. So these are big guys, very big guys. But otherwise also, every author, you would also know what a Novanil Chakraborty writes.
Definitely.
You would also know what a Neil De Silva writes. Neil De Silva writes. So everyone has a personality. And I definitely have a personality and a persona that I want to project out there. How successful I'll be, you have to tell me. But over a period of time, of course, I want to be there.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, like जैसा कि आपने हमें स्टार्टिंग में बताया कि आपका जो राइटिंग का शेड्यूल था वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं था इन द बिगनिंग. सो व्हाट डू यू डू एज ऑफ नाउ? लाइक अभी आपका क्या राइटिंग का शेड्यूल है? आप अपने लिए कोई स्पेसिफिक टाइम पूरे डे में अलॉट करते हैं, या फिर जब थॉट्स आते हैं तो उनको कहीं आपने छोटे छोटे नोट्स बना के लिख लिए, फिर बाद में उनको एलैबोरेट किया? कैसे अभी आप करते हैं?
नहीं, so basically, see, I'm not very organized as a writer. So that is a good thing and a bad thing, because a good thing why I tell you is eventually, while you market, that's a different thing, but eventually writing is more of a creative work. And if you kind of tie yourself in too much while you are wanting to be creative, doesn't work. So for some people it works to be like, there are now softwares which tell you how to write. So they exactly tell you, okay, first, what is the first chapter? Tell me 2 lines. Second chapter, tell me 2 lines, and give me that entire dope. Now, there are, and people are paying money for that. But I believe otherwise. While I have started to do kind of a formatting overall, what is the end game, and then start looking backwards and start looking at my characters and picturization of these sceneries and the, for example, what are the back elements, what are the front elements, what is the character doing in a particular thing. All of that while I am trying to picturize, but none of this is, completely time based. So I believe one should pick up your laptop and write at least half an hour every day. That gives you that comfort of writing, and you'll be able to kind of respond to your need to write every day, and then it becomes kind of a habit. So I'm trying to do that actually right now. I don't want those 3 months of delays that I don't get writing at all. I don't want that to happen. So I might be extremely busy a particular day, might have had 10 Zoom calls that day, but night 10 o'clock, if I get half an hour time, I should take my comp and write. That is what I'm trying to do, but nothing much beyond that.
Okay. And my next question to you, sir, like अभी जैसा कि हम देख सकते हैं कि the patience level of youth is getting really destroyed day by day. Like when it comes to a 15-second video of TikTok or Reels, we don't want to spend that. We just want to कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हो जिसके लिए हम रुक सकें. हम 15 सेकंड भी नहीं रुकना चाहते. And because of that, what I think is the readers are getting less day by day, because completing a book is completely a different thing. उसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा patience की ज़रूरत है. So what according to you, what's your take on that? Like अगर हम यूथ को या फिर जो हमारा रीडर है, अगर हम उसको वापस से इंक्लाइन करना चाहते हैं बुक पढ़ने के लिए, so what are the measures which we can take?
See, I don't really know much about it, but what I'm seeing is a lot of authors are now writing stuff that kids enjoy. So there's a big business out there which is based on kids' books, and if as a kid you've taken to start reading books beyond your normal studies, that is where kids are actually caught for the long term. At a 10-year-old, at a 14-year-old, at a 13-year-old, basically in your teens, if I am able to get to you and to tell you that you have to read these 5 novels, and we'll discuss each of these novels, which I have done with my daughter, not so much with my son, but my son was a voracious reader himself, so I did not have to do with him. He used to read a lot of stuff, which none of those I have read actually. So and at his time, that Harry Potter and everything had come out, and he's read all of those. Alex Rider and everything he's read. But I was not very aware. Only thing I knew was, okay, if he's reading good books, and these are all good books, they have done amazingly well. If he's reading and he wants to read furthermore, give him as many books as you can. My daughter took to it a little later. So while my son started, say, at age of 10, my daughter was not into it so much till the age of 12 or 13. So slowly we had to kind of start talking to her, and she also loves languages. She loves English, she loves Sanskrit, which at the school level it was there, now it's not there. But I'm saying she had a love for languages, and she's now looking at French and Spanish. So that's where kind of spoke to her, told her, you need to, take some time away from your screen, go back to the books. You read this book and we'll talk about it. And then she started reading a lot, and she's read everything that my son read. And after that she started writing also. So I've seen a few poems that she's written, which is amazing at her age, at 13. She's written poems that are really brilliant poems. So every parent has to spend some time with their kids and to try to inculcate. If you're not directly telling them to read, at least read stories to them. Read some of the best stories to them. Tell them about what's happened in their childhood. So that helps a lot, because these kids have not seen what we've seen in our past. And they are seeing actually a completely I would say, disconnected society right now. And this pandemic is making it worse. Definitely. So it's a completely disconnected society. You're not meeting your grandparents. You're not meeting your friends and family members. So how do you kind of keep yourself engaged? How much more of Googling would you do? How much more of those games would you play? So let's go back to our past. Let's understand and learn from our past. That's what so sometimes on the dinner table, 4 of us sit and we talk about our past. So which kids also want to learn. So those stories that came out in Baryatu Tales have come out, some of them have come out from there.
सो जैसा कि अभी आपने बताया कि जो पैंडेमिक में लाइफ है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिस्टर्ब हो गई सभी के इस समय। फिलहाल तो ये जो सेकेंड वेव ने तो बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया है। तो आप अपनी लाइफ में कैसे चेंजेस इस समय किए हुए हैं, या फिर आप कैसे इस चीज़ को देखते हैं, कैसे टैकल करने के लिए लिसनर्स को क्या सजेशन देना चाहते हैं?
So I think one has to be very positive. These are very tough times. The world hasn't ever seen it in the past, maybe 100 years back, and then again 100 years back. So it's something that you would never see it again in your lifetime. It's that kind of a time. We need to kind of take it that way. We have to be very positive. We have to feel positive, and we have to. There's a circle that you connect to. So it's not only your family. It's also your friends. It's also your colleagues, work colleagues. Then it's also people that you're interacting with. To all of them, it is important for you to be able to share the same positivity around you. It's very important, because these are times when some people do get negative, some people do get depressed. So, and what I've seen is people who are a lot into maybe just the gaming portion or only on TV, they tend to start getting negative. So remove them from the screens, the idiot screens. Put them more towards reading. Put them more towards maybe even normal appreciation of things around you. Talk to them. Just half an hour of talking to a person who might be feeling a little low helps that person come out of it, and it's such a good gift of humanity. So friends, for example, if you're actually feeling low, just call up a friend from your past, maybe from your school, and that would change you that same evening. Definitely. So it has that power. And we need to believe in that, and we need to we have to take it on our chin. But this too shall pass, as they say. This will not continue. It's only some time now, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. But we have to take it, and we have to move beyond this. We have to do what we need to do, and we have to go beyond this.
So So my next question too is related to the releasing of the book, sir. Like आपने अपने बुक के रिलीज के लिए कोई ऐसा माइलस्टोन सेट किया था, या किसी जैसे लेट्स से कि जो कंपैरिजन होता है बेसिकली कि मेरी बुक रिलीज हो रही है तो इतना तो इसे फर्स्ट डे में सेल करना होगा, या ऐसे कोई भी चीजें आपने ऐसे सोची हुई थी?
So, one of the best things that has happened to me is that even while before releasing my book, I read a lot of large authors' books.
Yeah.
So, and some of the best marketing books about marketing books that are available globally.
Okay.
And I realized that you don't need to do a big one-day sales spike. That is not essential, and that does not actually take you anywhere. Amazon actually bangs you badly beyond after that, and you might have gone to number 1 on day 1, but then by the day 30th you would not be found in top 12 pages also.
Definitely.
So that's where that's where it's important to kind of be there. I would give you an interesting data.
Definitely.
So
sure.
there are on Amazon there are 8 million books that are available.
Okay.
80 lakh books available.
Okay.
Now, out of these 80 lakh books, 33% of those books have never sold one paperback copy.
Oh.
Yeah. So which is close to 25 lakh books haven't sold a copy. And if you say how many books have come to bestseller ranks and which have sold only one copy a day to come to a bestseller rank.
Oh,
there are a number of books like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is Amazon has 13,000 categories. So like thriller, under thriller you'll have, under crime you'll have thriller, mystery, and something else also. Then police procedural under that. Then something else under that. So there are 13,000 different categories. And in each category you have free book, number 1, number 2 bestseller list.
Then paid one.
And
Yeah.
you have paid book bestseller list. And then there are multiple. So there are popularity ratings which are different from bestseller ratings. So that way Amazon prints close to 50 odd thousand bestseller lists.
Oh, okay.
So it's not important to be a bestseller.
Definitely, sir.
I just want to say what is important is your book has to be popular. So somehow or the other, over a period of time, people should start getting to know, okay, here is an author, Kinshuk. He does some work, and he's written maybe 4 books by now, and he's writing some more. But at least he's a serious author. He continues to write. He continues to build upon his characters. He continues to be kind of looking at the request of his fans out there, and he wants to be able to give them, their 5 hours of adrenaline.
Definitely.
So it's important to be there for the long term. I believe in that. So this book, while it has come out, I hope it will do well. But there's a lot more to this, and I'm there for the long term.
Definitely, sir. So now coming to your personal life, sir, can you share with us like what was the happiest moment of your life till now?
Oh yeah. So basically, when you see the face of your child, nothing can be happier. And when my son was born, I was not even there in the city.
Okay.
So he was born at Ranchi, and I was traveling, and I was in Orissa.
Okay.
So when I heard, and that was suddenly, I had to take a bus. There were no trains available. There was nothing available, and I took a 14-hour bus journey and came back. And without going home, I just directly went to the hospital. But when I saw him crying, I was so happy to see him.
Okay.
So, and after that, when I saw my daughter, it was all planned. I was there.
Okay. So my next question too is like, what is your current mental state? Like, what are the things which you want to focus on as a person, as a writer? What are those things?
See, so while I want to write more of mystery and maybe even thrillers, but there are certain things which, because as I told you, I used to write in newspaper also at one point in time, and I have written multiple essays on India, on the Indian dynamics, changing dynamics, political as well as economic scenario. So snippets of those you'll get in my Two Indian Girls also. So this, while it might eventually be a police procedural novel, but it shows you the background in which it is happening. And that background basically is that of Bihar. So Bihar and Jharkhand, the political and economic scenario in 2014. So the book also talks about it. So I believe in the future of the country. I really believe that India would do very well going ahead and will be back to being one of the greatest nations on earth, while we were maybe 2000 years ago where we were in terms of being the best. So we will go back there. Our time is coming. And I do a lot of reading of basically the economic as well as the political scenarios of the country. And while I might keep writing police procedurals and mystery and thrillers, I would also sometimes want to write something which is very relevant to the present day in the nation today. So some of those things would also keep coming. It might come as articles, or it might come as something else. It might come in the form of a book. But there'll be something which I would keep writing. I cannot go away from that. It's too close to me actually. In fact, I'll tell you, I was never into reading too much of these mysteries. I used to read more of Economic Times, and I used to read more of very, very typical books, So for example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad became famous more recently in India. But I have read it 10 years back. And so Think and Grow Rich, for example, by Napoleon Hill, became famous, I think, only last 2 years. But I have read it 20 years back. So books like those, Freakonomics, I have read it 10 years back. So these were some of the books that I used to love. Most of them were non-fiction books. But over the last 4-5 years, I suddenly turned into fiction. And that is when an Agatha Christie started working for me, or an Elif Shafak started working for me, or an Alex Michaelides started working for me. But this is all very like last 2-3 years, 4 years. So, did I answer your question?
Yes. So my last question to you, sir, what are your advices for the upcoming authors? The authors, which are just about to publish their book, who are thinking to write a book. So what's your advice for them?
See, while I don't know whether I should be giving an advice right now, because I'm just testing my feet in this market. But what I definitely would want to say is, and which I have, these are basically, learnings from my own readings. And I am a voracious reader myself. I keep reading almost like every day. So, and these are books from all the different genres that might be. So I was telling about The Silent Patient. So there's something called The 40 Rules of Love. Amazing book. I loved it, really. Then I also read a book called A Nearly Normal Family. I don't know how many Indians would have read it. It was a big hit in the US. But awesome book, very nice. As crime happens, and 3 different protagonists, from their own point of view, they describe the crime in their own ways, and mystery is built into that. Then I have read a book, an old book in India, very famous, called Kanthapura by Raja Rao. He's a brilliant writer. He used to write, I think, sitting out of Great Britain.
Are these your favorite writer as well, sir?
Yeah. Oh, mind-boggling. Raja Rao is one of the best I've ever read. Chinua Achebe, I don't know if you've read any works of his. A lot of Indians haven't. He's from basically, I think, Africa. His book, Arrow of God, it's mind-boggling. I've never read anything like that. And every single page throws out something for you to take. So these are all fiction, but the way they have actually packed a punch in that, and these are not mystery or something, these are typical socio-cultural fiction novels. Awesome. For example, Kanthapura talks about, while we were getting our freedom at that point in time. Then Bend in the Ganges by Manohar Malgaonkar. So while India was having this partition, yeah, some of the best works ever some of the Indians have written in the past. So, and they go much beyond maybe today, whatever. I don't say we are not having good works happening right now, but I think the way people, or maybe even our society has changed so much that we are writing right now more of fiction, which is not so much linked to our cultures or our backgrounds, or even the economic and political scenarios. That linkages are missing to an extent, I feel. Some of our people are doing a lot of work on mythology. Amazing work is happening. It's all there. But for example, my great grandfather K.K. Sinha, he had written a book called Sanjogita, or The Princess of Aryavarta.
Oh, okay.
It was the first Indian novel written in English on a historical subject. So it was 1903. And you have to read it to believe it, the language and everything. So there are multiple books. For example, if you have read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, that's an amazing book. So if The Age of Turbulence, again a completely non-fiction finance-based book by Alan Greenspan, who used to be the governor in US. These are completely different books that have been written by people, but give you so much to learn. So if you want to be an author, my only thing to you is have that love for reading. It's very important to inculcate that love for reading, because it gives you so much more to be able to then put your thoughts down and write. And which I am now kind of trying to do is write every day. It's very important. You have to create that habit of writing every day, whatever comes. It might be a Holi, for example. Do your celebrations throughout the day and the evening. Have a good dinner, but after that, sit and write. It's very important, and you'll find your path.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed the episode, and if you have, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, a podcast specially for authors. And don't forget to buy the book Two Indian Girls. आप Amazon पे जाके सर्च कर सकते हैं, सर का नाम वहाँ पे भी आ जाएगी. आप सर की प्रोफाइल पे जाके आप सर से कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. जरूर करिए. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on our show. It was an amazing experience.
Truly appreciate you calling me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Stay safe. Bye.